Thank you for joining me, Ashwin Berry, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, Oshakati psychiatric ward overcrowded. The government will blacklist incompetent contractors, and citizens depend on the government too much. Follow all our programs on oneup2.com, DSTV 285 or GoTV 25 in Namibia. Midday news update after the break. Michael Mshelelo's appeal against the Katutura Magistrates Court's decision to deny him bail has been set aside. Judge Naomi Shivute did not disclose the reasons for her joint ruling with Judge Philanda Christian. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break. SWAPO Vice President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah Saturday afternoon said with places like the Onab Lake, Hardap Dam and the Ruahana settlement, formerly the headquarters of the Nama Kingdom in the Hardap region, it has great potential to become a tourist attraction because of its historical background. She mentioned this at the SWAPO party rally in Rehoboth that took place yesterday. Elizabeth Qaibes reports.
Of Hardap. Hardap can also be a center of tourism. We know that we have our Hardap Dam as well as the Lake Onap. And with the good and the right position and the focus, this area can really become a tourist attraction as well as a historical place. Last night, I overnighted in Wahanas, and I was so impressed when I had an evening of being told the story of Wahanas in the resistance as well as in the liberation struggle, and the shrine which is there for our chiefs, as well as the water spring. And when these things are developed, it can even become an attraction to our school children to come and learn more about our history, as well as to own and to be part and parcel of the broader Namibia. Comrades, I have talked about our economy. We know that in Namibia, there are key economic sectors which to me are the basis and to be supported by the enablers. These are agriculture. Mining. Can you hear? No. So what is happening with the electricity?
The trial of Johan Mare, who stands accused of sexually abusing a number of young boys in Windhoek, will begin on 18 September. Mare appeared in the Windhoek High Court this morning, during which his legal aid representative Miriam Kandoni went on record. Kandoni indicated that she will be ready to start with the trial, which will run from 18 to 22 September. Further hearing dates were also scheduled this morning. The trial will continue from 24 to 27 October and again from 6 to 10 November. After the break, Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 150.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review. Irony has struck the Kavango East family, which lost 16 members in May from suspected food poisoning, with survivors saying they last had a decent meal during the burial of their beloved ones. Hunger continues to haunt the family, just as it did when its members were forced to eat poisonous food, which led to shocking deaths. Namibian Sun visited the family over the weekend, nearly 3 months after they buried 16 relatives. Apart from the lack of food, the surviving family members also pleaded for counseling as they are struggling to cope with the trauma stemming from the events that occurred. During the interview, some family members were in tears while discovering the suffering they endure. On page 3, Urban and Rural Development Minister Erastus Uthoni argued that Namibians' dependency on the government for jobs is excessive. Uthoni, who was speaking at the African Day of Decentralization, Local Governance and Local Development last week at Okahaho in the Umsati region, warned that government cannot employ all graduates and urged graduates to take up vocational courses to acquire skills and create jobs. The world today is focusing on business and not dependency. Governments in many countries do not employ many people. The culture in Namibia is more on government, he said. He called on young Namibians to be innovative and explore opportunities to help sustain Namibia's economic status, emphasizing that young citizens in other countries rely on themselves to find jobs and create businesses. On Republicane's front page, Namibia's wheat and white maize harvests have made history this cropping season, being described as the largest since the country began producing these crops. However, the country's total cereal production recorded a 9% decline for the 2022-23 cropping season compared to the previous season's harvest. This is, however, 23% above the 10-year average production. Crop estimates indicate that the country recorded 150,000 tons, which is lower than 168,200 tons produced in 2021-2022, but above the 10 years average production rate of 124,200 tons. This is according to the Crop Prospects, Food Security and Drought Situation Report for July, released by the Agriculture Ministry. On page 3, Brazil has donated about $2.2 million Namibian dollars to Namibia towards upscaling 5 food system projects and facilitating skills and knowledge transfer to target communities. Erika Shafuda, Namibia's country representative for the World Food Programme, said the donation presents unique opportunities for Namibia. In 2021, WFP, in partnership with Brazil, supported the implementation of 5 community-based food system projects: the Tsunkwe Clinic in Oshodonjupa, the Olukula Clinic in Oangwena, the Epako Clinic in Omaheke, the Stampriet School in Hardaba, and the Opuo Maternity Ward in the Kunene region. Shafuda said the donation would complement national efforts aimed at transforming rural livelihoods and creating employment opportunities for youth and women. Agriculture Minister Carl Schlattwein said the generous financial support resonates well with Namibia's national development goals and objective outcomes in the agriculture sector. On his front page, the Allgemeine Zeitung highlights on the underperformance of the 2022-23 rainy season, jeopardizing water availability in several regions of the country. Food security has also deteriorated significantly due to these adverse agricultural production conditions. And on page 3, August 26 Logistics has hired lawyers to recover millions owed to the company, apparently illegally loaned to a private company. High-ranking officials have been temporarily suspended. Stay with us as we continue with the Namibian newspaper after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
The Namibian reports that the Ministry of Health and Social Services will in the future blacklist companies which fail to execute projects accorded to them within a specified time frame. This comes as Parliamentary Standing Committee found that most hospitals and satellite clinics are facing a plethora of problems, including a shortage of bed linen and space in maternity wards, while some do not have sufficient refrigeration to store critical medicine. At a press conference yesterday, the Executive Director of Health and Social Services, Ben Nangombe, said the ministry is facing contractor performance issues due to inadequate funds, technical capacity, and resources for workforces and materials. A 27-year-old man found guilty of murdering his uncle by beating him to death with the handle of a traditional axe was sentenced in the High Court sitting at Rundu to an effective prison term of 20 years last week. Antonius Semete fractured his uncle's skull in the Kavango West region on New Year's Day last year. High Court Judge President Petrus Damaseb sentenced him to 25 years imprisonment, of which 5 years are suspended on condition that he does not commit a similar offense during the period of suspension. The New Era's lead story reports that the Oshakati Intermediate Hospital's management is pleading for an independent psychiatric unit in order to address mental illness crowdedness. The head and psychiatric specialist at the hospital, Moges Admasu, said the unit is overcrowded all the time, leading to some patients sleeping on the floor. Usually our bed capacity is more than 100% full. Sometimes there will be 5 or 10 or up to 50 patients admitted outside the ward, and they sleep on the floor, Admasu stated. He further said because of the lack of rehabilitation institutions and programs, some of the chronic patients end up relapsing and being readmitted, causing further strain on the unit. On page 3, the Roads Authority has once again awarded a road rehabilitation tender to Zhongmei Engineering Group. The Chinese-owned company, in collaboration with 4 local contractors, is set to undertake the rehabilitation of a 30-kilometer road between Yusakos and Karibib at a total cost of 343 Namibian dollars starting next month. The funding of this project is provided by the KfW Development Bank through a loan to the government. The Yusakos-Karibib route is part of the Trans-Kalahari route, part of the highway. It is of national and international significance because it connects to the port of Walvis Bay. It is also one of the busiest roads in the country due to cargo destined for landlocked countries such as Botswana, Zambia, and Malawi being transported daily from Walvis Bay. And the difference in the repo rate between Namibia and South Africa is 50 basis points or 0.50%. Year to date, the Bank of Namibia hiked the repo rate by 100 basis points from 6.75% to 7.75%. BON's fourth monetary policy announcement for the year is expected to take place on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the South African Reserve Bank increased the repo rate by 125 basis points year to date. At the fourth monetary policy announcement in July, SARB left the repo rate unchanged at 8.25%. According to the Namibia Statistics Agency, inflation came in at 4.5% in July and averaged 6.2% year to year. The Bank of Namibia projects inflation to average 6.1% in 2023. Nedbank Namibia and NIPDB unite forces. An update coming up next as we move over to economic news.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In an era that seeks to propel small and medium-sized enterprises to the forefront of economic recovery, Nedbank Namibia and the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board have forged a remarkable partnership to supercharge the vital sector. By sponsoring the transformative High Potential Pool initiative, Nedbank Namibia manifests its unwavering commitment to fostering SME development in the country. According to Nedbank Namibia's head of SMEs, Sam Ikela, Nedbank Namibia firmly believes that integrating SMEs into the mainstream economy is crucial for our nation's economic recovery. This corporate ethos is crystallized in the bank's robust support for SMEs, offering loans from 50,000 to 10 million, and is further amplified through their sponsorship of the NIPDB High Potential Pool. This innovative program under the Know to Grow umbrella aims to expedite the growth trajectory, promising export-ready micro and small businesses through international business linkages, trade missions and international trade fairs, coaching and mentoring and product testing, product certification and licensing, business model and process improvement where required. Let's head into the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 18.95 next to the US dollar, with 24.02 Namibian dollars, getting you £1 British pound. The Sego Holdings Namibia Limited made a downturn of 1.80%, while selected NSX stock closing prices maintained their value. Local index closed down and the overall index closed down as well, with a 0.60% downturn. Looking at commodities, gold registered the only uptick of 0.03%. Niger's military says it will prosecute deposed President Mohamed Bazoum. Stay with us as we head into news from Africa.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment.
Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
Niger's military says it will prosecute deposed President Mohamed Bazoum for treason hours after a group of senior Islamic scholars said the country's coup leaders are open to diplomacy to resolve their standoff with West Africa's regional bloc. In a statement read out on national television late on Sunday, a spokesman for Niger's military laid out the charges against Bazoum as high treason and undermining the internal and external security of the country. Bazoum and his family have been held at the president's official residence in Niamey since the coup on July 26, with international concern mounting over the conditions of their detention. The Economic Community of West African States has called for Bazoum's reinstatement, imposing severe economic sanctions on Niger and threatening military intervention if civilian rule is not restored. Still, the West African bloc, which has approved the deployment of a standby force to restore constitutional order in Niger, has said it remains committed to finding a diplomatic solution to the crisis. The spokesman for Niger's military, Colonel Major Amadou Abdelrahmane, has said in a statement on Sunday, dismissed concerns over Bazoum's health, saying the deposed leader had seen his doctor the previous day. After this visit, the doctor raised no problems regarding the state of health of the deposed president and members of his family, he said. Now, Abdelrahmane went on to slam ECOWAS sanctions on Niger, saying the illegal, inhumane and humiliating measures were making it difficult for people to access medicines, food and electricity. Let's swing over to international news, starting with China.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
China has called Taiwan's Vice President William Lai a troublemaker for his ongoing visit to the U.S. Beijing firmly opposes any official contact between Taiwan, which it regards as a renegade province, and the United States. Now, Lai is considered the front runner in next year's presidential elections, which will take place in January. Taiwan says Beijing will likely conduct military drills near the island this week in a bid to intimidate voters. Lai, 63, is officially on a transit stop in the U.S. whilst on his way to Paraguay to attend the inauguration ceremony of its new president. The South American nation is one of only 13 countries to have formal ties with Taiwan. The presidential candidate of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party was in New York and San Francisco over the weekend, where he gave a speech pledging to protect Taiwan's sovereignty in the face of authoritarianism. Lai added that only Taiwan's people can decide their future and that Taiwan and China are not subordinate to each other. He also stressed that he was very willing to talk to China to seek peace and stability, common rhetoric in the run-up to the election, as candidates look to gather support without angering Beijing. Lai has previously called himself, to Beijing's displeasure, a pragmatic worker for Taiwanese independence. We'll be swinging over to local sports, starting with volleyball.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
In a thrilling display of athleticism and determination, the final games of the Volleyball League came to a riveting close this past weekend. The second last match of the day pitted RVC against KNVS ladies team, two powerhouses that had been neck and neck throughout the season. The crowd roared with every spike, block and dive as both sides fought valiantly for dominance. In the end, KNVS emerged victorious in a heart-stopping battle, 3-0. Gerard Mans Jr. said his win at Saturday's Hollard Gravel and Dirt Series 65-kilometer race at our Safari Lodge was brought by endurance and coupled with a bit of fortune. During a very windy day, Mans stormed to victory in 2 hours, 24 minutes and 21 seconds. The Sport Club Windhoek Stadium was fully packed on Saturday as African Stars FC hosted Musa FC in their final friendly match before they face Zambia's champion club, Power Dynamos FC, in the CAF Champions League on Friday, 18 August in Johannesburg. We'll be talking about Kaizer Chiefs in Cape Town as we start off international sports after the break.
Good evening and welcome to Sunset News.
Attachment stays in list A and mention a speech, rate and taxes, and how much.
After the break, we take a look at the sports.
We bring you
economic indicators, tomorrow's weather, and sports. I am Aina Raiza Kwayong.
Molefi Nteki recorded the first win of his tenure at Kaizer Chiefs after they came from behind to beat Cape Town City 2-1 in the FTN 8 quarterfinals in Athlone Stadium on Sunday afternoon. The citizens opened the scoring through Mark van Herden in the 23rd minute, although Ashley Dupriez found a reply for Amakosi 9 minutes before halftime. Matilda's Tameka Yallop and Lydia Williams on Monday resisted every attempt to get them to imbue this week's Women's World Cup semi-final with extra meaning because they are facing Australia's fiercest sporting rival, England. American Lilia Vu sealed her second major title of the year with a dominant 6-shot victory over Charlie Hull at the Women's Open on Sunday. The 25-year-old posted a final round 67 to finish on 14 under par. It is now set to replace Nelly Korda as the new world number 1. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast after the break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. Let's get into the highlights from this afternoon's broadcast. Niger's military says it will prosecute deposed President Mohamed Bazoum for treason hours after a group of senior Islamic scholars said the country's coup leaders are open to diplomacy to resolve their standoff with West Africa's regional bloc. China has called Taiwan's Vice President William Lai a troublemaker for his ongoing visits to the U.S. Beijing firmly opposes any official contact between Taiwan, which it regards as a renegade province, and the United States. Gerard Mans Jr. said his win at Saturday's Hollard Gravel and Dirt Series 65-kilometer race at Awa's Safari Lodge was brought by endurance and coupled with a bit of fortune. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour